Hey, Steve and Alyssa here with Meatless Makeovers. And today,
we're going to be making or combining two of our favorite things, creamy garlic hummus with zesty Italian gremolata.
Gremolata is an Italian condiment packed with garlic and lemon, and most of all, fresh parsley. And it's zesty. It's often paired with roasted meats, but we love it with roasted vegetables, putting it on salads, and it's perfect to put on this creamy garlicky hummus.
Yep, delicious. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We'll start making the gremolata. For this recipe, all you need is either a blender or a food processor, just to make it a little easier and faster. Here on the video, we're gonna use both. So we're gonna make our gremolata in our food processor, and then we'll put the hummus in the blender. So
yeah, needless to say, it's going to be a loud recipe.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with our gremolata, and first and foremost, parsley. Could you hand me a knife?
Of course.
So with the fresh parsley, you need about 1.5 cups parsley. You can have some stems, so don't go crazy. What I'm going to do is take a big chunk of the stems off this. And then I'm just going to give it a light chop.
Just so it fits in the food processor. But of course, no need to actually over chop, because the blender or the food processor will do it for you. Wonderful. Let's see if I can get most of it in here. I'll take that.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So just add it straight, the fresh green parsley, to the food processor.
Okay, and while she's doing that, the next big ingredient is lemon. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the juice and the zest of one lemon. And to get the zest is this yellow part. Make sure it's nice and clean. We have washed it. And what you'll need is a microplane or a citrus zester. And it's just the yellow part. So as I start scraping this across, you'll see that it's taken all the yellow off, and you don't want to go too deep so you get a lot of white, because the white, the pith, is a little bitter, but this yellow is intensely lemony flavored and almost sweet, and that's gonna help with the gremolata a lot. So I'm just gonna continue to do this. It's a little tedious, but not too bad.
And then you're also making the most of the lemon. We actually love to use a little bit of lemon zest anytime a recipe is calling for lemon juice. It's just, again, it gives it that little boom or ping, extra flavor.
Yeah. And when the finished product of the gremolata is done, you'll still be able to see this lemon zest as little pops of color in all the green, and it's kind of cool. It's one of my favorite parts. Okay.
Yep.
Make sure I get all of it.
So go ahead and add that as well. All right. Now,
excellent. And now I'll cut this in half.
With the knife.
And she can juice the lemon into there. While she's doing that, I'm going to cut the garlic. So for this, we're going to use 2 cloves of garlic. All I'm doing is peeling it, because the food processor will do the rest.
And the nice thing about this citrus juicer is no seeds going through. So it really is super easy. And gremolata, it's great, like we mentioned, for many things. For this recipe, we're actually not going to use all of it, but that's perfectly fine, because it also keeps really well. Just keep it in the refrigerator, even add a little bit of extra olive oil on top just to preserve it a little bit, hold it in, and it'll keep for a long time. And then we like to add it to lots of things, whether a little dollop on like some pasta or even a salad, even pizza.
Oh, we're Not quite ready yet. We're
Oh, I'm
gonna
sorry.
season this with a little
I'm
salt.
ready to go.
Little salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
That's just about a quarter teaspoon
yeah.
each. Adjust to your flavoring, of course.
Yep.
Now she's gonna blend that just a little bit, food process it a little bit, and the next thing we're gonna add is oil.
Yep. So sorry, loud. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Now this is a half a cup of oil. I know it seems like a lot, but it makes quite a bit, and you're gonna have leftovers. Of course, adjust to your liking, but if your gremolata seems a little dry, add a little more.
Mm-hmm. And it just, of course, makes that richness, that flavor. So just scraping down the sides a little bit before adding in the oil. Thank you. Now I could drizzle it as I'm blending it. That's another option, but for this, we've made it enough.
That we
know that it's a good amount right here, so I'll go ahead and just pour it all in. I really like to use the pulse feature because it allows it to kind of keep a little more control over the size of the chunks of the parsley leaves.
Yep.
Right now it still needs a little bit more, but I'm going to scrape it down.
Yeah, you're looking just for little shreds, like no whole leaves, of course.
Yeah.
And make sure all that garlic is incorporated as well. That's looking about right.
Yeah, it is. Yep, I think we're good. So,
okay, at this point, you would either transfer it to a bowl and clean this out so you can get ready for your hummus, or set it aside because we're going to start the hummus.
Yep. So, as we mentioned, just put it there. Now, gremolata, check, done. And we will now make our hummus. So, for hummus, this is just a garlic hummus. Of course, you could do roasted garlic if you prefer that. We're just gonna do
garlic cloves.
Garlic cloves.
We have 1 can of garbanzo beans, drained and rinsed, but we kept the aquafaba or the juice from the can.
Yeah. And we keep that just in case if it's seeming a little dry, rather than adding a lot of extra oil, which you can do as well. It's a nice way to make it a little creamier without the calories. So.
Okay, so this is a garlic hummus. So the next step is garlic.
Yep. So I'm going to add the tahini as he's doing that. Can't have hummus without good tahini.
And I like using a little bit more tahini just because I like that little tartness or tang, but just a little goes a long way.
Yeah. All right.
So for this, we're using 3 cloves. All I'm doing is peeling them, and the blender will do the rest.
Yeah. Also, a little
2 tablespoons of oil.
Yep, olive oil. As we mentioned, you can add more or less if need be. Oftentimes when you have like really good hummus that's from either store-bought or from a restaurant, usually I would say like 99% of the time it's because there's a lot of olive oil in it. Either that or a lot of tahini, or both.
Yeah.
So, but when we're making it home, try to keep it a little on the healthier side. So the aquafaba is a good option. So our garlic.
Okay.
Maybe
Next is lemon juice.
Yep, and I'm adding just a little bit of salt. What, 1/4 teaspoon? Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, and we'll use this citrus juicer yet again. Can't have too much lemon, right? I'm doing a better job of not spraying it everywhere. Okay. There's half.
Perfect.
And for this, we're using a smaller blender container, just because we found when we use the large one, oftentimes it tends to be harder to mix because it's such a small amount. So if that's the case and you only have the larger one, then you just need to, similar to the gremolata, kind of scrape down the sides a little bit more frequently to make sure it's thoroughly blended.
Okay, so she's gonna start blending that, and then we're gonna see if we have to add any aquafaba.
Yep. So. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's when you know.
Yeah. It's blending, but
we're gonna want this really smooth.
Yeah. Now we used canned chickpeas, but another trick that we found to make it a little creamier and smoother is you actually, if you use, that was quite a bit, dried chickpeas, by removing the outer, what do you call that, skin on the chickpea. If you remove all that, it's really easy. It slips right off. Oftentimes that makes it creamier. And also a nice trick is adding an ice cube or two as well. Let me scrape it down just a little bit.
Yeah, a little stir, but it's looking good.
Yep.
So the creamy hummus, and then juxtaposed with the leafy gremolata, it's going to be great. And the garlicky and the bright parsley flavors.
I'm cutting you off.
Oh, sorry.
You know,
wow, maybe just a little bit more.
I know. I'm thinking so too. Just a little bit. And that's where just, you know, a little at a time.
Yep.
I think that probably should do it.
So nothing goes to waste.
No.
Yeah, don't let that aquafaba go down the drain.
No, because if you don't use it for this, people make whipped cream out of it. We've used
vegan
it,
meringues.
Yeah, we've used it for when we're making a pasta sauce to add a little bit of creaminess. It's really versatile.
There it is.
Sorry, I know that was loud, but
it's worth it.
Yeah, that little extra blending just makes it extra creamy. So, hummus is done.
So we'll grab a bowl.
Yep. Now we said this was easy. So all you need to do is add your hummus. Now, of course, if you really want to like make it a little easier, you can also use store-bought hummus.
Yeah, and just put the gremolata on top. That cuts out one whole step.
Yep.
But homemade hummus is always so fun because, hey, you know what's in it, but you can change the flavors. You can do so much.
Yeah, and one thing just recently, actually, my mom said to me, she's like, the hummus was warm. I'm like, yeah, when it's fresh, it always is. And it's so true because like oftentimes we buy hummus, you know, and people do, and then
right off the store.
So it's refrigerated, so it's always chilled. But there's something about when it's warm.
Yeah,
it's fresh. It's just so good, especially if you're going to be going to an event or a party or serving people at your house. There's just nothing that beats it.
Yeah, and it's quick. It's super easy.
Yeah, that aquafaba really did the trick. It is, you can just tell, extra creamy. So.
Yum.
Yep. So now we have our hummus, and we'll just add
a swirl of gremolata.
Yep, we're just gonna add a little bit, and whatever we don't use, like we mentioned, we're gonna just refrigerate. It'll last a couple of weeks, so easy. But I'll just kind of add a nice little swirl on top.
Yum.
And the oil in the gremolata also, because you see a lot of like restaurant hummus, of course, they put a little drizzle of olive oil on there. The gremolata just naturally adds that for you. So
there you go.
Yep. And just to make it pretty, I'll add a sprinkle of sesame seeds. We could have toasted them too, but not today.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
And there it is.
Yep, that's it.
But I think we should taste it first.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to taste it. So, I have all of our dirty dishes here. Some crackers.
Nice reach.
Thank you. These are pita chips. We would recommend just serving it alongside either fresh pita that's been cut or pita chips. Or it's also, of course, any hummus is good with just chopped fresh vegetables or, crackers.
Crackers.
Yeah, really anything. So,
Okay.
all right.
Make sure you get a little bit of both.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Wow.
The creamy hummus and the brightness of the gremolata.
Yeah. And all the garlic. Wow. You might want to brush your teeth when you're like talking to people, but it's so good.
But
I mean,
but to say the lemon definitely offsets some of that garlic, so it's not overpowering.
oh no, not at all. And yeah, it's just such a nice contrast between the two with the bright, fresh gremolata, and then the rich, creamy hummus.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, this is a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
So
If you try it, let us know down in the comments.
we hope you do. You will not be disappointed.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye. Yes. Yum.